with your busier city clients, like we're saying, you're in New York. I'm sure you have a ton of people come in who they all think they're the world's busiest person. They all think their schedule is unique, that nobody else gets it. And how can I possibly, whether it's meal prep, whether it's cook on the fly, like how do I approach nutrition in a way that's conducive to my busy schedule? Because for most people, it's not going to be cooking 3 meals a day in real time. What do you tell your busiest clients, like what some realistic meal prep strategies are?
So I love cooking. Obviously, you know this. So I spend the time doing it. For me, it's not just the cooking. It's therapeutic for me. It's something that I wholeheartedly enjoy. I love, finding flavors that are mixed. Go ahead.
Can I pause you here real quick?
Yeah,
I would love for you to expand on that, like how
yeah,
you enjoy it, how it's therapeutic. Because I think that most people, unfortunately, never get to that point. And meal prep is
hmm
always like this dirty phrase of making 18 pounds of chicken every
yeah.
Sunday. Tell me more about how does somebody get to, I'm so glad you mentioned this again. How does somebody
Yeah.
enjoy the cooking process? Like, what do you like about it?
Man, I'm like I mentioned, bro. Like I think for me, I have this just deep rooted connection from my upbringing, and that sort of played a role in like how I look at food and how I sort of, visualize cooking and what it looks like. And I don't look at it as a laboring thing at all. I don't think I've worked in a couple restaurants, not because I wanted to be a chef, just because I wanted to work with food and be in that environment and see how actual chef. You don't know this about me. So when I left banking as well, I actually took on sous chef opportunities at 2 different restaurants before I decided like, I'm going to actually stay within the fitness field and work on that. But yeah, like, I just have an appreciation for food and what it does for you as far as obviously the nutritional aspect of it. But the process of cooking for me, therapeutic. I know for me, I love music as well. So I'll put on, one of my favorite albums and just sort of grind out to that as I cook something, right? And taste is a big thing, right? Like I know you mentioned just, meal, people equate meal prep to, we get some bland ass chicken over here and just make a ton of it, right? And granted, that may work for some people. And there's ways to take that 18 pounds of chicken and make it a little bit, just make it a little bit more livelier, right? It doesn't have to be a daunting, just heap of chicken over here. Like, fuck, man, a whole heap of chicken. This is where you play around with flavors. This is where you figure out, okay, what do I like? And I get it. Like, not a lot of people, either want to have the experience doing it or even want to do it. But if you're really trying to attack something and try to get from point A to point B, you have to incorporate these habits and these particular things that you may not like, but realistically, this shit is going to help you to get to that goal, right? So for me, I look at the flavors, like, 18 pounds of chicken. Okay, what kind of spices can I put on there? You don't have to salt everything up. For those people who are looking to take salt out of their diet, like turmeric, paprika. There's so many different, learning what these spices are, learning what these different flavor profiles taste like. That's a real big thing in making food fun and making food palatable, right? So yeah, I look at shit like that, and that's one of the ways that I go about just keeping things spicy, keeping things zesty, just keeping things tasty, and me being infused to go eat. I could make the same thing for the week, like you said, just meal prep, have that 18 pounds of chicken, and I'll love the shit out of it because I know I'm putting some love, some TLC, some flavor into that thing. So explore, people. Like I'm telling y'all, it's like find your seasonings, explore your spice pantry, go into your Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, what have you, and just spend like a minute at the aisle. Just, okay, let me look up what turmeric is. Like, I'm being dead serious. If you have the time, do that. You'll be amazed at like things that you can find to make your food a lot better for you. So there's that part of things. With dealing with busy clients and just busy people in general, who may not want to or have the opportunity to cook, I always look at things as meal delivery services. I have one client in particular, like this is a fucking pain in the ass with him. He's a very busy guy, travels a lot. He can't even think half the time. There's a lot going on with him. So looking at delivery services, I know thankfully New York has these services. Freshly, that's the one we're using currently. I don't know if I should have said the name, but anyway, Freshly is one of them. Plug in Freshly, no, not a paid sponsorship. But we're utilizing them because they're a little bit more streamlined. He's able to navigate the service pretty. And that's another thing, finding little things that make the process a lot simpler for you. Obviously, just if you can't cook, All right, meal delivery services. Okay, meal delivery services. Which website looks streamlined? Like, which one do I just have to click, 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 and I'm good? Versus like, all right, got to drop down, look at, what does that say? Whatever works best for you and make things a lot easier along the way, do it. So we found that service to be the one that's very streamlined. Their food tastes pretty good. Food arrives on time. But that's an option that people can utilize as well. And then just, just finding things in ways that make your life easier in the kitchen, right? A lot of the supermarkets now, they do have prepackaged dinners and salads, etc., that you could utilize. I don't think those are the greatest in the world, but they still have a ton of nutrient density if you're choosing the right ones that will help you to get to where you need to be, right? So yeah, find your ways, find your means, and just stick with it. Be consistent with it, right? And if something doesn't work for you, maybe try some other option that once again makes life simple for you, and trial and error, figure out what works best for you, and then go with it from there.
Yeah, there's certainly levels to it all the way. If we start at the most basic, making most of your meals yourself, which is obviously something you enjoy, going to a grocery delivery service, going to a service that delivers, I don't want to say prepackaged meals, but everything almost like kits to make your meals, all the way to investing the most and actually getting the meals made for you. And the barrier that I see come up all the time is like, well, I can't afford that. I don't think I can. First of all, a lot of those meals you can get for 10 to 12 bucks per. If you look at the average meal out, if you and I got a freaking breakfast sandwich in New York by the water, it'd probably be 12 bucks each, not counting tip, tax, whatever. So that to consider, like actually look at your budget. And another thing I always quote often, I got from Mike Vacanti, who's actually another trainer in New York, is there other currencies besides cash? So if you look at, well, I can make this meal for $6 myself, I'm like, you could, but you haven't, and you haven't for years. So why not spend $8 or $9 on this meal? You're getting time back. You're getting mental energy. You're getting bandwidth back. I mean, a family man like yourself, Kurt, that, you enjoy it. So you're an exception, but maybe somebody else who is like, I don't want to be spending my time cooking. I get home from work late and I want to spend time with my kids. Well, do you value that extra time with your kids at a $3 price point? Because if so, invest in the damn meal prep service so you can hang out with your kids without having to order takeout or fast food.
Yeah. That part of the process is so key too. Like a lot of times I get it. Budget is a big thing. And, obviously I've lived in New York. You've lived in New York. You understand how it goes. But think of the currency of it, right? It's all right. I'm saving $2 because it's $6 versus $8. Well, yeah. Then you're missing the time with the kids, and then you got to deal with that part of things, and that's emotionally draining. So now you're looking at yourself being depressed because you didn't, spend time with your kid. Like there's those little things that you got to look at and be like, okay, is it worth it to invest in this thing? Meal prep, delivery service, whatever. Yeah, because it's going to save me some time. It's going to save me some energy. It's going to save my relationship with my wife and kids. Like, there are little things to look at outside of the monetary aspect of it, right? So yeah, that's very, very key, bro. And then also, if you're wondering, check your Grubhub or, Caviar or whatever service you might have for ordering out food. Look at your service fees. Look at the actual price of your meal. And then decide, okay, do I want to spend the money on the meal prep service? Like,
that's funny. You'll get the notifications on your phone. That's always like $1 off a breakfast sandwich. You're like, oh yeah, got to do that. Yeah. So the breakfast sandwich goes from 12 to 11. That's assuming there's no breakfast meat on it. You add that at 17 plus tip plus tax, delivery fee, service fee, $33. And I'm like, wait a minute, like this is so people are willing to invest in that, and that's where obviously you have to audit. The expression. You look at someone's calendar, you look at their bank statement, it tells you where their priorities are. And we're not trying to guilt anybody here if that's what you value and you want to do that. But again, if you're hitting somebody with the rationale of, well, I can't afford a meal prep service. Well, you may think that, truly you may believe that on a surface level, but if we dive a little bit deeper, that investment may make sense. And it doesn't have to be extreme. Like you said, it's personalized, and maybe they typically just blow their dinners. They get home from work every night. They can't even conceptualize the idea of cooking. But what about investing in 5 meals per week? Just 5 meals per week that you're probably going to order out anyway. That could create all the momentum in the world for you to then nail your breakfast the next morning and start taking your own lunch instead of buying it. A little can go a long way with this stuff.
Of course. That's bars right there.